Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kendall Stokes coming back to you for the first time in a couple weeks for the Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem YouTube channel. It's October 3rd, I think, maybe the 4th. It's early October, and you know what that means? It means it's postseason baseball. Yeah, and my O's are in it. Matter of fact, this Saturday I will be in Baltimore rooting them on in Game 1 of the Division Series against whoever they're playing. Don't know yet because the wild card's going on. But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because the Record Store Day Black Friday list came out yesterday, and that's why everyone clicked on this video, of course, because they want to hear about that. And I was gonna do this video yesterday when the list came out, but I waited a day. Not a whole lot of time to wait, but I waited because I wanted to let it sink in a little bit. Watched a couple videos, watched Mike the In-Groove, watched Chance Concert Buddy, and I watched Mike Hub Tunes. They posted a video with their thoughts on the list and stuff. Chance wasn't really all that hype on it. And I made a comment. I said that I felt like this might be a grower, not a shower of a list, and he thought that was a good one. So that's my title for this video, is that this is a grower, not a shower. Because I'll be honest with you, when I first glanced at the list, there was 175 titles, which, as everyone knows, Record Store Day Black Friday is not like regular Record Store Day. Much smaller list, about a third of the size, and so you don't get as much stuff. And we were spoiled, I think, this Record Store Day. I thought this Record Store Day was a great showing back in June. I picked up a lot of great stuff. Was very happy with the list. It was huge. A lot of, engulfed a lot of different genres of music. Had stuff for everyone. This list, again, 175 titles, and at first glance, I have to admit, I wasn't all that impressed. I looked at it and I thought to myself, man, I'm not sure there's really anything on here that I'm going to be all that interested in. And, I looked at it over and over again. It came out, about 1 o'clock Eastern time, I think, maybe a little after, and I was at work, so I had to kind of look at it periodically while I was at work. As I looked at it more and more during the day, more things started to kind of grab towards me, or gravitate towards me. I did a little bit more research on certain things, and so what I have here, like I normally do, is I'm going to go over my wants, my maybes, and my honorable mentions. So got my notes like I always have, and let's get into it. I will say this list as well, I really felt leaned a lot into the hip hop, which I'm really not big on. There's always a good bunch of jazz titles as well, but I thought it really leaned into the hip hop a lot this go around. Now, I don't know if you remember, if you watched last year, I think I bought 2 things last Black Friday, only 2 things. So that could be the way it goes this year. You never know. I always start off by saying I go into Black Friday or Record Store Day in general, saying it's all about price. The price of these records is going to determine what I really come away with, because I'm on a budget. So here we go. There's really only 2 things that are on my actual want list, and I'm going to go over those first. One of the first things that gravitated to me was the English beat. Now, in the UK, they're known as just the beat, but here in America, they're known as the English beat. If you're not familiar with them, they're a band out of the UK. Reggae, ska, punk, remind me a lot of UB40. Their debut album's coming out, and I'm gonna have pictures hopefully here. Came out in 1980. It's gonna be a 2 LP set. It's an RSD exclusive. There's gonna be 5,000 copies. The big track on this one was Mirror in the Bathroom. There's also a good cover of Tracks of My Tears. No, I'm sorry, Tears of a Clown on this one. It was really good. If you're really into early reggae, not early reggae, but early ska, I mean, these guys really kind of were the starters of that. Like I said, think UB40, but like I said, it's a 2 LP set. This album has never really gotten a reissue here in the US. I think it was reissued once in the UK, like back in the early 80s, so it's not been around before. Like I said, it's a 2 LP set. The second LP is going to be rarities, alternates, and live tracks. It's going to be on colored vinyl as well. So really looking forward to that one. My wife actually noticed that one too. So for her to notice something on the RSD list is it's kind of a big deal. Next, this one is actually one that I really kind of noticed today more so than yesterday. And I really thought more people would point this one out just because of the rarity of it. But it's Mike James Kirkland. Hang on in there. Mike James Kirkland is a soul R&B singer. Didn't really have a ton of success back in the 70s, except for this album was somewhat successful. The thing is that this came out in 1972, the same time that Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, and Curtis Mayfield, Superfly was flying off the shelves. But this is a very rare record. Had its big track, Hang On In There, and there's another one as well. There's also a cover of Baby I Need Your Lovin' on here. But originals of this sell for like $300 easily. It was reissued once back in 1996, also very expensive. It's never gotten a good reissue. This is going to be 1 LP, 180 gram vinyl, only 1,200 copies. It's an RSD exclusive, so one and done here. And like I said, think that Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield sound. Very, very, like I actually streamed it today just because I haven't heard it in a long time. I really like it. Like I said, it's very, very rare, so it's something that I thought would get a little bit more notice in the VC, especially just because of the rarity of it. So I think even this, because it's only been reissued once, I think even this is going to be something that is, when it comes out, you're going to see this on eBay probably. You know, the aftermarket's gonna take this one, and we're going to see this go for probably a lot of money. I don't know that for sure, but anyway, it sounds really good and I like it. So but those are my only actual wants at this time. Now my maybes. First thing, Fraternity, Second Chance. If you're unfamiliar with Fraternity is an Australian band. They're known as a pub band. This is a collected rare recordings by the band, first time ever on vinyl. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, who are these guys? And if you know who they are, then great. This is the band that the Young Brothers heard and picked Bon Scott from to be the lead singer of AC/DC. So kind of a big deal there. This is another one, very limited. It's going to be 2 LP, only 800 copies. Now here's the thing, it's an RSD limited regional, so I don't know if this one's going to get much of a global release, so it may not even be available in my area. If it is, I'm very interested in that one. You know, this was Bon Scott before AC/DC, so that's pretty interesting. There's some cool tracks on here, some covers, some bluesy covers on this thing. But it's just kind of cool to hear Bon Scott before he was Bon Scott from AC/DC. So that one's a maybe. Another one that kind of caught my attention, 13th Floor Elevators, Bull of the Woods. This was their third album, their least popular one. Came out in 1968 or 69, I want to say. This is going to be an RSD exclusive as well. Only 3,500 copies. Not been in print forever, so very hard to find. So I think this one will be kind of another desirable one. So I'm very, I don't know if I like the 13th floor Elevators. I know a lot of people are going to say, what's wrong with you? They're one of those bands that I'm kind of on the fence about. So that's why this one's on my maybes list. This one, Beach Boys Christmas album. Now I already have a copy of this record. It's like an 80s reissue, but this one's tugging at my strings because, for one, it's one of my favorite Christmas albums. It's one LP. There's going to be 7,000 copies of it. It's an RSD first, but it's going to be on green vinyl. Now, like I said, I already have a copy of it, but it's an 80s reissue that I got used. This is going to be brand new, probably going to sound much better than my reissue. So to have a nice new copy that looks this good, green vinyl, you know, I'm thinking it might be kind of cool to have the upgrade. Next, we got, wouldn't be RSD without a Bill Evans release, of course. This one's called Tales Live in Copenhagen 1964. My only issue with this is there's always a Bill Evans release. There's always more jazz. I haven't gotten a Bill Evans release on RSD for a while, just because I feel like there's so many and they're always expensive. Now this one, however, is a 1 LP release, and there's only going to be 3,650, and it's an RSD exclusive, so it's going to be cheaper, I would think, because it's only 1 LP instead of 2 and 3 like the other ones have been. So budgetary wise, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably going to be a little bit better. So that one's lower on my maybe list. Price wise, you know, could be a reason. This one, Ripple. Everyone knows this cover, Ripple. Soul funk, disco, jazz. It's considered one of the, you know, quintessential albums for that. I don't actually have a copy of this. And the reason I don't is because, one, it's been long out of print. It's celebrating its 50th anniversary. It's been long out of print. And when you find copies of it, finding good, clean copies are rather expensive. And so when you find cheap copies, they're normally trashed. So this is a maybe for me just because I don't have a copy. It's one of those albums that, you know, it's good to have in your collection. I mean, it's a classic album. The cover itself is just cool enough, you know, so it's one I definitely need to add to my collection. I want it. Would I like to have an original? Of course, but finding one, it's so hard. So this might be worth having. This one I have on here more as a joke, I guess. Pauly Shore and the Crusties, you know, Pauly Shore, Biodome, Encino Man, Son-in-Law. Hilarious, but also annoying comedic actor. I did not realize this until recently. He has a YouTube channel where he has this band called the Crusties. He does covers. He's releasing an LP. This is an RSD exclusive. 1,250 copies. It's a 1 LP. This is kind of cool though. 75 random LPs are going to have a signed art card by Pauly. 11 by 11 printed insert. It's going to have covers. There's some Zeppelin, Elton John, McCartney, Lennon, a bunch of cool covers. But I will say, I listened to them on YouTube. They're not the greatest. It's more of a satire thing, you know. So just keep that in mind. It'd be funny. It'd be fun to have, but it's kind of like the Macho Man, you know. I hope you didn't buy it to really listen to it and enjoy. It's more just to have for what it is, and that's what I think this is. So anyway, those were my maybes, and these are my honorable mentions. It wouldn't be a record store day without the Doors, live in Bakersfield. This was back in, I want to say like 69 maybe. That's going to be a 2 LP set. It's on a really cool looking colored vinyl. I love the Doors, but to be honest with you, I'm not a big live Doors fan. So that's why this is just an honorable mention. I'm not going to buy it. There's 2 Jerry Garcias. I love Jerry Garcia, but there's just too much. There's too much, and so much of his live stuff with the Jerry Garcia band and his acoustic band, it's all the same to me. These ones are a little bit different. There's one, him and David Grissom. This one's a little bit different because it's called So What. It's a jazz album, actually. It's an RSD First, which both of these are. It's an RSD First, and he's playing acoustic jazz of the Miles Davis album, So What. A little interesting, so, you know. And then the other one is with John Kahn, who was in the Jerry Garcia acoustic band, I believe. This is live in 1986. This is Pure Jerry is the name of the album. But again, so much of that stuff is just the same. The set lists were so close to the same. I don't need all that. I'm not one of those purists that needs to have all the live Jerry Garcia. And to go along with that, all the live Grateful Dead. There's another Grateful Dead box set coming out live at the Fillmore. This is from March 2nd, 1969, the Fillmore West. It's going to be a 5 LP set. The completists out there, I know, are going to buy this. It sells, and so I get it. So that's great. This one's kind of cool. Little Feat live in Manchester, 1977. It's a 3 LP set. It's a full concert. This was actually part of the Waiting for Columbus box set that came out. It's the concert that was in there. I've streamed it before. It sounds great. I think this was actually done by Bernie Grunman as well. I could be wrong on that. It sounds great. I'll be honest with you though, I don't think it's something that I really need, but if you're a Little Feat fan, definitely go out there and get it. Another one, this one I'm actually kind of on the fence about, just because of what it is. Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. It's the official soundtrack. It's going to be on a colored splatter vinyl, I think. It's the official soundtrack. There's 2 songs by the old 97s, one with Kevin Bacon on it. Kind of cool. This one I think is going to be really popular. Willie Nelson, Shotgun Willie, 50th anniversary, 2 LP set. Now, this album obviously is one of Willie's biggest albums of all time. Great. And I know Vinyl Me Please just did it, but it was 1 LP. This is 2 LP. It's an RSD exclusive, only 5,500 copies. The second LP is outtakes, alternates, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is going to do well. Another one I think is going to do really well. It's a 12-inch single of Billy String's California Sober with Willie. And then also the second song on that single is it's a Willie Nelson cover. I can't think what it is right offhand, but it's Billy Strings and Billy String sells. There's going to be about 5,000 copies of that. It's exclusive as well. It's going to be on colored vinyl. And then last one, I always have to mention the Jazz Dispensary. Those do so well. This one is going to be at the movies. It's always going to be on this cool colored vinyl. So anyway, those are the ones that I wanted to mention. So many great things that I just think people were overlooking. And I didn't even mention the stuff like the hip hop. And then I know there's some, 90s and 2000s rock in there, the metal that's in there. There's so much stuff out there, I think, for everyone that people are just kind of overlooking because they want to see the mainstream stuff, maybe. So there is stuff out there for everyone. Like I said, I was telling Chance in my comment, I said, to me, I think it's a grower, not a shower. And, remember, sometimes stuff gets added a little bit later. I was surprised there wasn't a single release by a Beatle. There wasn't a Foo Fighters release. I always enjoy when there's a Foo Fighters release. There wasn't even one of those. Wasn't anything by The Who. There wasn't anything by, artists that you normally see on a record store day. So, but there still could be something added later. I doubt it, just because we are in October, but you never know. But like I said, there was plenty of jazz on there I didn't mention as well. So anyway, I will say this year, like I said, there's really only two that I said that I want. It could still change. We're in the beginning of October. This is going to be a weird holiday season for me, so we'll see what happens. I don't know, honestly, how I'm going to do Record Store Day this year. My plans have changed quite a bit, so we'll see. But I would encourage all of you to go out and if you're gonna go out to your record store day on Black Friday, whether it's for these titles or just to shop for records, please go and support your local record store day. Most of them are gonna have sales because it's Black Friday, so give them your support. Anyway, hope you guys are doing great. I took some time off the last couple weeks, so it's good to be back out there. Let me know what you guys think of the record store day list. Let me know what you think, if there's anything that I left off of the list that you think is going to be worth getting. And until next time, I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Bye.